Previous session, we have implemented the Swagger documentation and we get the default Swagger documentation. In this session, we shall add some meaningful information in our Swagger documentations. For that, we need to go to our controller and here we will add meaningful information or documentation using some Swagger annotations. So first we will do a tag annotation. And we keep the name retail bank. There is a typo, retail bank account management application, say management application. Then we shall add another annotation, API and tags. We use the same one, same descriptions. Okay, so this will add meaningful information for account controller. So say here you can see it is showing account controller. Instead of that, it will show the retail bank account management application. Now for REST endpoint, we add few descriptions. Again, we'll use the annotations to do this one. First, we'll do API operation and we add some meaningful information here. Say we can tell create a new bank account for the customer, and here we can give API responses so that what kind of response we can expect from the system or from the endpoint. So it should be value, and then we can give our API response at the rate API response. So first one is plural, this one is singular. API responses, and it is API response. And then we give the response code, say code equal to 500, and message is internal server error. Similarly, we use another API response for successful response. So at the rate API response, and we can give code equal to 200, message is okay. And we can give response equal to say account response.class. I think this is fine. There are several other annotations also, but for the time being it is fine. It will give a meaningful information for create new account. Now for other REST endpoints, we use add the documentation, and for that let's copy these things and paste it here. We change the API operation. Instead of that, we can give get all bank account or accounts. Yeah. Do the same thing for get account, and we change the description. So let's make get G capital, and here we can keep get bank account for customer or something. Get bank account details for customer, and it is fine. And we can do the same thing for update and delete. So let's do it. Update, and we can give update bank account for customer. Similarly for delete bank account for a customer, and it looks okay. Now for get mapping, we add some information for the parameter that we are passing, and we also give the information that this parameter is mandatory. So for this we are using API param, and we give a value, say customer name for which bank account detail is needed, and we can keep this type is a string and required is true. Required is true. I think this is fine for the REST endpoint. Apart from that, let me format it. Yeah. And now for account response and account details also, let's add some information for the property details, whatever property we are using. Let's do this part now. Now we keep the details, what is the purpose of message, account details, etc. For that we will use one parameter, say annotation, say API model property, and we keep some information on that. Notes, and we keep the message related to the say account status or whatever. Similarly, we do it for other properties. Just copy it and paste it here. Okay, I missed the annotation, and we give here account details for the customer or something. Our customer, it's fine, and copy the same thing below, and we give this say list of all account. This is irrespective of any customer. It is the all account from the bank. So this is fine. We did it for account response. Now we can do the same thing for account details. We can go to the account details and we can add the similar properties here. So API model property, and that we can keep notes equal to and say account holder's first name, and repeat the same thing for all the places and make the necessary changes. Account holder second, okay, it should be last name. It is last name, so let's make it last name. Then copy the other thing and the same for other properties. So this is the account holder's address. Now next is account holder's phone number. So you can see how quickly we can write our documentation using Swagger. And then it should be the account holder's account number. That's it. I think we have completed our documentation. So if you can see here, account details and all, currently it is showing a string, but whatever we have added, it will give a description of what is this field, what is the purpose of those fields or the properties. Now let's build our applications quickly and run it. It's built successfully. Let's run it. Stop and rerun. It starts successfully, and we can go and see our Swagger documentation now. And you can see it is coming nicely, a retail bank account management application. And we can open those things and see for get, post, delete, all this description is coming properly. We can see what is the request we need to send and what response we'll get, what are the different response code that we shall get. For get method, it is showing that this is the account name, the customer name for which bank account details will fetch. Here, if you can see for account details, all these things, it is giving what is the purpose of each of these properties. It shows all these things in details. So a front-end developer who is developing his application to consume our REST endpoint, he will know that what kind of information he needs to pass, what is the data type, and what response he will get. Not only that, we can test our endpoint also using Swagger. So this Swagger documentation is an agreement between front-end developer or someone who is consuming our REST endpoint and between the endpoint developers. So once we provide the Swagger documentation, the contract is ready, we know what we need to send and what we'll get, and based on that we can develop our applications. And as long as we follow the contract, integration will be without any issue. So here we are trying the post method, and I am giving some information on that, and just give username, say A B C D whatever, and the last name I can give D E F G anything, and let me execute it. And if you execute it, you can see what is the request executed, and here we can see the response: create deployment work is in progress. So this is the response that we have set in our case now, and we are getting that one. If you can see our controller class, this is what we are returning: account, create account, development is in progress, and this is what we get here. So this way we can document our API using Swagger, and any client who is going to consume our endpoint can use the Swagger documentation to develop his or her code to consume our REST endpoints. Parallelly, at the same time, we can develop our backend logic. As long as we are not changing our API, it is fine. Thank you, and we'll meet in the next session.